Hi, it's Sylvester, and there's this content creator named Michelle Platty. I used to watch her videos all the time. By the way, I tried to look up her pronouns. She doesn't have them listed on Instagram. I'm pretty sure her pronouns are she, her, but I might be wrong. Like I said, I tried to look it up and I couldn't find her pronouns listed anywhere. So I'm saying she, her. If those aren't her pronouns, please let me know in the comments down below. But anyways, Michelle makes videos about conspiracy theories and stuff like Mandela effects and that sort of thing. And so I don't really watch her content anymore because I was delusional for many years. I suffered with paranoid delusions, I suffered with psychosis, and I was really into conspiracy theories. And I think the conspiracy theories that I consumed on YouTube played a role in my delusions. And so I'm kind of scared to consume conspiracy theory content because I'm scared it's going to make me delusional again. So again, I don't really watch her content, but I do support her in theory. Like, I support what she does, and I think she's a great creator, even though I don't watch her content anymore. I'm not. It's nothing against her, is what I'm trying to say. But I do watch her content on Instagram because she's been making these little Instagram videos talking about what it's like to be a fat woman in this world. And this is something that really, really resonates with me because I'm a trans man. I thought that I was a woman until my mid-20s, and I have struggled with my weight for most of my life. So there were many, many times in my life where I thought that I was a fat woman. I've never been a woman. I've never really been a woman, but there were definitely times when I thought I was. And so I kind of know what it's like to be a fat woman, and a lot of the things that Michelle says really strike a chord with me because it's like, yes, you're so right. Like, she was talking about how she's invisible to a lot of men. Like, a lot of men won't even acknowledge women they're not attracted to, and oftentimes that includes fat women. And this is something I experienced. Like, when I was fat, men and boys would just like ignore me. Like, when I was in high school or elementary school, like, I was just basically invisible to boys until I would lose weight, and then suddenly certain dudes would start talking to me and start noticing me and start being nice to me, and it's like, hold up. Like, you were an asshole to me and pretended I didn't exist for years, but now that I've lost 50 pounds, suddenly I exist, and suddenly you want my attention, and you think you're entitled to my time, and like, screw you. As Michelle said, if you are a dude who only acknowledges and is nice to women who you find attractive, then you suck as a person. You're an asshole, and you are not a feminist. You hate women. If you're only nice to women you want to have sex with, you hate women. And that's, again, I'm loosely quoting Michelle on that one because it is so true. Like, it is so incredibly true, and it just bothers me so much. And like, just the idea that some men only acknowledge women they find attractive. Like, my sister had this boyfriend who said that he never liked Ellen DeGeneres specifically because he didn't find her attractive. And I thought that was so shitty because it's like, he pays attention to and listens to boys that he's not attracted to because men just automatically give other men respect. Like, if you're a man, you're worthy of my time and my attention, but if you're a woman, you're only worthy of my time and attention if I want to have sex with you, if I find you attractive. Or like, there was this guy I used to work with, and he was talking about how he used to hate Lady Gaga until he saw her in American Horror Story, and then he was attracted to her, and so now he likes her. And it's like, so you don't care about her talent, you don't care about her voice, her skills, her performing abilities, you don't care about anything else other than whether or not you want to have sex with her. Like, that is what gives her value to you, Or like the band Fifth Harmony, he was talking about them, and he's like, none of these girls, I don't even know why these girls are famous, none of them are attractive. And first of all, yes, they are. Secondly, they were teenagers at the time, I'm pretty sure, and this man was solidly in his 30s or 40s, so he shouldn't be finding them attractive anyways. And like, again, you think the only reason women should be allowed to be famous is if you want to have sex with them? Like, if you find them attractive, that's the only value that women have? Like, stuff like that just drives me freaking crazy. So if you're a woman and you're fat, You know, a lot of people in this world don't like fat chicks, don't like fat people in general, and don't find women who are fat attractive. So if you're fat, there's a lot of men who are just going to treat you like shit, who are just going to treat you like you don't exist because you have no value if you are not fuckable. You know, if they don't want to have sex with you, then you basically don't exist, and you have no value. And it's just, it drives me so freaking crazy. She was talking about how like dating as a fat person, like there's dudes, or like when she's at the bar, dudes will come up to her and start like hitting on her, and she'll be like, no thanks. And the guys will get so offended because they feel like they're doing her a favor. It's like, don't you realize you're a fat chick, and like by me being attracted to you, you should be flattered. You should be happy that anyone's attracted to you, you know? And these dudes get so offended when she turns them down because it's like, what? You're a fat chick. You don't have the right to turn men down. Like, you should just take whatever you can get, you know? And like, again, I totally understand that. Some of the lowest quality men would come after me and hit on me and go for me when I thought that I was a fat chick, and like, and like I wouldn't be interested, and they'd be so offended because it's like, what? You're fat. You should just be flattered that any guy wants you. Like, you know, like, it's just, it's so true. It's so freaking true, you know. And there's like so many negative stereotypes that people have about fat chicks. Like the one that drives me crazy. I was listening to Jake Paul's podcast. I don't know why. Like, I don't like Jake Paul. I don't like the things he's done. I don't like that he's a Trump supporter. I don't like Jake Paul, but at the same time, like, I kind of want to give him, I keep trying to give him a chance. Because I keep being like, well, you know, maybe he's just misunderstood. Maybe he's not as bad. Because, like, he's just so hot. And, like, I'm attracted to shitty people. I understand that. But, so I was trying to listen to his podcast so I could, you know, get to know him better. And he had this guest on his podcast. So to his credit, he's not the one who said this. It was somebody he had on his podcast. But he didn't try to contradict this person. He didn't try to, like, stand up for fat people. But the guy on the Jake Paul podcast, I don't remember his name, but he's like, oh, you know, I have a thing for fat chicks because they love giving head. They're just so good at giving head. They love it. And like, that is such a pervasive and harmful stereotype that fat girls love sucking dick. It's just like, why? Because they like to eat, so therefore they like putting stuff in their mouths. Is that what it is? You know, it's because they're just so hungry all the time that it's like, I just want to put anything in my mouth. Come, put something in my mouth. Like, why do you think fat chicks love head so much? Like, why is that a stereotype? Why do people think that? And like, I certainly wasn't a fat chick who liked giving head. I hated giving head, and I still am not really a big fan of it. Like, I'm asexual, so I don't like doing any sex stuff, but like, especially oral, I'm just like not super into it. And so like, the idea that like dudes would be into me and wanted me because they had because they had heard and they believed that fat chicks like giving head and they just like getting head, and so they're like, oh, I'll go for fat chicks because they're gonna want to suck my dick. And it's just like, you're gonna be disappointed when you meet a fat chick and then she doesn't want to suck your dick because it's like, but wait, the only reason I wanted you is because I thought you'd suck my dick. You know, it's just like so fucking harmful. It's so fucked up, and it just pisses me off. And like, if there is a reason why fat chicks would want to give head more than they like having like other types of sex, it's probably because there's the idea that fat chicks are ashamed of their bodies and don't want to get naked. And so the only way they can have sex with somebody and not get naked is if they give them head. You know what I mean? And so it's like, well, of course you're not attracted to my body because look at my body. I'm fat. Why would anyone be attracted to me? So it's my face. You like my face. So you can have sex with my face because that's the thing that you're attracted to. You know, like, it's just like, but again, that's so fucking stupid. Fat chicks don't like head. I mean, not some fat chicks do, but like, don't go for a fat chick just because you want to get your dick sucked. Like, that's so fucked up, you know? Like, oh my god, I hate that so much. And it bothered me that Jake Paul didn't stand up for fat chicks and be like, actually, that's a harmful stereotype. And like, but he's Jake Paul. Of course he fucking didn't. Like, what did I expect? I give that man too much credit. I really do. He's just so hot. Like, Uh, anyways, there's the stereotype that fat chicks have low standards. There's the stereotype that fat chicks smell bad, which is, so like a lot of fat chicks are like really self-conscious about their body odor and like use a lot of perfumes and use a lot of, body sprays and stuff to try to make themselves smell good because everybody expects fat people to smell bad. There's the stereotype that fat chicks are lazy. And like when I was like I used to walk all the time. I wasn't lazy. I would walk everywhere. I'd walk for like 2 hours a day, and I'd exercise. Like I was fat, but I wasn't lazy. Like I was fat, but I still moved around and got like all my skinny friends were lazier than I was. If they had to go to the store, they'd be like, but I'm too lazy to get up and walk there. I'd be like, I'll go there. What do you guys want? And I'd be the one who was always out walking, getting people stuff because I was like the least lazy person in the room, and yet I was usually like the fattest person in the room. And so like the idea that just because I was fat meant I was lazy just really pissed me off. um, or that fat people are inherently unhealthy, which there's a lot of reasons why people are fat. I've spoken about this before, but like there's so many health conditions. Like you could have thyroid problems, you could have PCOS. Is that what that's called? Polycystic ovarian syndrome or something like that. There's a condition that a lot of people who are assigned female at birth suffer with that causes you to be overweight. You could be on medications that cause you to be overweight. Like I'm on medication that caused me to have an increased appetite. Like there's like a lot of reasons. You could just have a slow metabolism. Like there's many reasons, or like mobility issues. Like maybe you have mobility issues and so it's hard for you to exercise, so you're overweight. Like there's so many reasons, so many health reasons and physical reasons and psychological reasons why people are the weight that they are, and it doesn't necessarily mean that you're unhealthy if you are fat. Like when I was vegan for 6 years and I ate healthier food than the rest of my friends. Like we'd be hanging out and they'd be eating chips and pizza and all sorts of junk food, and I'd be there eating like my special healthy vegan stuff, and like, compared to a lot of my friends, I ate healthier than they did. It's just I just happened to eat a lot. Like it was not, and like the amount of food that I ate was probably unhealthy, but like the quality of the food that I ate was not necessarily unhealthy. I mean, sometimes I did tend to binge eat on, but like the point still stands that just because someone's fat doesn't mean that they're unhealthy. Or there are skinny people who are profoundly unhealthy. There are skinny people who all they do is put junk food into their body, and they smoke and they do drugs and they like, treat their body like crap, and they never exercise, but they just happen to have a really high metabolism and so they never gain weight. And like there's lots and lots of skinny people out there who are more unhealthy than fat people are. It's just because we in our society are just automatically assume that you can see somebody's health. It's so harmful. Looking at someone, you can't tell how healthy they are. It just bothers the hell out of me. And what other? I mean, I guess that one's not specific to fat chicks, but like it's just fat phobia in general just pisses me off so much. What else? What else? I mean, I don't know. I guess that's pretty much it. Yeah, it just grinds my gears. Being fat, it's and then like being fat as a man is so different than when I thought that I was a chick, and maybe a lot of that had to do with gender dysphoria, but I always felt like I had to hide my body. I always wore really baggy clothes because I thought if I wore tight clothes, people would be able to see my rolls and they'd be able to see how fat I was, and so I wore baggy clothes, which just kind of had the opposite effect. It just made me look bigger because I looked larger because my clothes were baggier, and so like, but like I just wanted to hide my body. I didn't want people to perceive me, and like if there were ever people around who I found attractive, I would feel like I'd feel like shit, and I'd just hate myself and just be like, God, I wish I could just snap my fingers and be skinny, because like I felt like I wasn't worthy of being around these people because they were so hot and they were so cool, and I was over there just being fat, and that made me unworthy of their presence. And like I just felt I had such low self-esteem. Like now, as now that I know that I'm a man, I don't really care that much that people know that I'm fat. I don't try to hide it as much. I'm not as ashamed of my body. I mean, I do definitely still struggle with self-confidence, and I do struggle with wanting to be skinny. I think that that's just something that when you live in a society that is obsessed with skinniness, that's just something that's going to be ingrained in you. And I do want to be skinny, but like not anywhere near as much as I did when I thought that I was a girl. Like I really thought in order to have value, I needed to be skinny. And in order to be worthy of people's time and attention, I had to be skinny. And I'd be so jealous of skinny girls because I just hated them so much because they had what I wanted to have. Like they had the body that I wish I had. And it was like, I mean, looking back on it, I didn't really wish that I had their body because it turns out I'm a man and I didn't want a woman's body at all. And again, a lot of the hatred I had towards my body probably came from gender dysphoria. But like, I just wanted to be skinny so bad because I felt like that's what I was supposed to want, and I felt like that's what I needed in order to be a valid human being. Is I needed to be skinny, and as a man, I feel like I'm valid even if I am fat. Like I don't feel the need to be skinny in order to be respected and in order to be seen and heard, you know? Yeah, and it's just like again, I'm just so much less self-conscious than I was when I thought that I was a girl. And I remember there was this one show, I think it was Will and Grace, that I was watching, and the guy was like, "Do you want to go make fun of girls whose stomachs stick out further than their boobs do?" And like that really stuck with me because I like looked at my belly and I'm like, oh my god, my belly sticks out farther than my breasts do. Like, oh, and you know, I just hated myself for that. And like, there were times when I just look in the mirror, grabbing onto my stomach, and I just wanted to take a pair of scissors and just cut my belly off. Like, I just hated my body so much because society hated me for having that body, you know? And it's just,